what I consider to be a love update. Love update. Let me just make sure that the voice level is such that you can get it very clearly, very articulatedly, if you want to call it that, or indeed, of course, very clearly. But the fact of the matter is that, of course, yes, I promise to be on your or in your presence after the ground report every morning. So I'm here. What update? Of course, I want to further, of course, appreciate those persons who have been calling. Yes, once you are Lavantillian, you are invited, of course, to call and tell us what skills you have. I have some persons who are waiting, of course, maybe after the fact, that is to say, when we would have won the elections, to make their contribution because they are plumbers, masons, etc. But there are people with vehicles. We would want you, of course, to be part and parcel of the campaign itself. You may be influential on your street. We'll want people like that as well. We need the physical terrain, the topography, the geography of the place is such, rise and fall hills, valleys, and of course meadows, etc. We need, of course, persons to be part of the feet on the ground to, of course, meet and greet the population as we introduce the candidate or candidates. Remember, of course, we are focused on Laventille East, Laventille West, and Port au Prince South, and therefore that is our interest in the whole coalition of interests arrangement with the UNC. It means, therefore, there is no argument that Love want to go by itself, but it can't form no government. That is not so. We know that, and we always knew that. What's going to happen is that we're going to play a significant role in terms of delivering to Laventille specifically. You are going to see, of course, in the manifesto of the UNC, a stroke, of course, coalition of interests, specific plans and programs for Laventille. Next week, of course, I will be sharing some of that in these segments, because it varies, of course, from a little 5 minutes to 10 minutes to 15 minutes, but nothing more, as we, of course, await the date for election. Of course, I don't mind if you find your way because you are happy, etc., or whatever it is, to, of course, Woodford Square, wherever, as the PNM call. I don't mind that. But know when you go to the polls, that is the most important, that you vote Love, the rocket. That's all we're asking. Of course, we're going to look at the whole question of breaking down the borderlines. We accepted that, of course, those persons who are in gangs and who are engaged in crime and criminality, who have made jail, etc., are part of our community. We have to accept that, and we have to find ways to treat with that. And there are ways. Because after all, they are human beings and they must eat too. Let us not waste time. But of course, we have to measure it. We have to balance it. And those persons who are doing positive and those persons who are prepared to change their ways, we might be able, of course, for example, to argue for getting rid of the criminal record that you may have. We could write and ask for pardon. Yeah, there's a mechanism to get rid of that, because we know how that is debilitating to any individual. So all of that, but we must clean up. We must clean up and clean up and clean up. People mustn't feel timid or intimidated to come up to Laventille, because we have a lot, whether it be steel band, music. We can bring back, of course, the Blocko. Remember the Blocko? Blockorama. Every Sunday in a different community. That was fun. I think that was where I met my first girlfriend. I think I get breakout there too, but we can talk about that on another occasion. But the fact of the matter is that all of these community networking and community camaraderie and community interwovenness is part and parcel of the whole makeup, and we must be able to make that happen, and then in unison make our contribution by being diligent, being industrious, and letting the authorities who would normally and with whom we have an antagonistic relationship and talk about the police, etc., they would find it difficult to break down homes, intimidate and or enter people's yards without warrant or with impunity, because they believe that the people don't have the time, because we have to eke out a living and therefore you have no time to go to court and to make complaints about the police and so on. So they ride roughshod as a consequence, even though you may be law-abiding and innocent of whatever accusation that they would have made. So quite a lot of work to do. Right here, of course, on George Street, we have a building, yes, needs a lot of work. We will be setting up the office next week, and we will want, of course, people to paint. If you have a skill in terms of electronics or electrician or even, of course, plumbing, yeah, we would want to get that. Or if you can contribute, those persons who are beyond that and want to contribute to getting these items for plumbing, for electrical works, etc., we would be very, very grateful. We have a community to save, and by extension a nation to resurface for positive advancement, having regard to what I consider to be the deterioration and the destructive force of the PNM, psychosocial and socio-economic, all of the above. We must become respective citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, and not because we are from Laventille, we are stigmatized and opportunities go a-begging, even though we may be qualified equal, if not more, than those who may be competing with us west of Port of Spain. I talk about Woodbrook, right down to, of course, the well-to-do area down there, West Moraines, or indeed in the north of Port of Spain, are talking about St. Anne's, etc. We want to see, as a common feature, doctors walking down Laventille Road. Why not? We have some teachers, we want to see more. We have some nurses, we want to see more. We don't have a pilot in the area, we want to see pilots walking down the streets of Laventille. We want to see them coming back and live here. We want to improve or upgrade our housing stock. We want to make it look, if not equal to, but close to what we see on the hills of West Moraines and other well-to-do communities. That is the vision. And we can do it. We can do it because we have committed people with vision and leadership. Have a wonderful rest of the day. I have no corridor transformation tonight. I will be, of course, at my favorite water hole. I talk about Spargos on Prince Street. Yes, I'm saying it because I don't expect anybody to come there and do anything onward, except, of course, to say that I am prepared to assist in this effort of saving Laventille. We have been neglected by the PNM, and they have been dangerous to our health and development. So I want to say to you, have a wonderful rest of the day. Tomorrow, of course, I'll be back on the ground report. Yes, indeed.
Someday he hear their whispers pray. from the ghetto.